Good evening and welcome to the October 2025 Board of Selectmen's meeting. First item is to recognize the emergency exits. For those in the audience, on your left, my right, will be the stairway that probably most everybody came down tonight leads to the parking lot at the rear of Town Hall. If for some reason that were not passable, you can go straight down the hallway out the back, which would then lead you to the firehouse, or you could go up the stairs behind the wall with the clock on it through the double doors, and that will put you out in front of the firehouse. With that said, please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This chair is kind of a low chair compared to what I'm used to. It's like that one's even worse. That's like from kindergarten. Okay, good evening. We'll start with on that side tonight.
Good evening. Welcome, everybody. PJ Shanley.
Good evening, Judy Smith.
Ann Denny, Secretary to the Board.
John Carangelo.
Bill Croat, Mitch Goldblatt.
Owen Weaver, Town Council.
Okay, very good. Public participation. Public participation is for any item that is not an agenda item, and you are allowed 2 minutes per speaker. I'll start off with Mitchell. Happy birthday on being 2 years older than me, but coming a day before me.
Happy birthday, Jim. You beat me to it. It's part of my announcements.
Public participation. Gotta be quick.
Happy birthday, Mitch. Good evening. I stand here tonight representing many residents who are deeply disappointed by how our local government meetings have in recent months been hijacked by political theater. The public participation period was never meant to serve as a campaign stage. It was designed to be a direct line of communication between residents and their elected representatives. It is a time for thoughtful input, honest feedback, and meaningful dialogue about issues that affect our community. Yet, since around June, that purpose has been undermined. We've watched as the podiums across our town have been misused by individuals seeking sound bites for their social media and opportunities to deliver partisan attacks against sitting members of our government. That behavior disrespects not only this board, but the residents who come here in good faith, expecting a productive exchange. What makes this even more troubling is by the gross hypocrisy behind it. The very people who claim that this government lacks transparency or accessibility are the same ones clogging up this platform with countless minutes of political propaganda. In a similar breath, the very same people who make it clear that politics don't belong in government or our schools are the same people that at debates put it on their mailers and say it at debates and yet ignorantly accuse others of making things political. They proceed to go to our school board meetings and our selectmen meetings and our zoning meetings and issue the same politically charged public comments they accuse others of. Residents really don't want to see this kind of rhetoric, and we're sick of it. After Election Day, when the cameras are off and the attention fades, those same voices will once again fade and leave those chairs in the audience empty until the next election cycle. So tonight, I am asking everyone on behalf of the many residents that are tired of this, that we stop the grandstanding and the lying, bring back respect, substance, and truth, and let's remind those who treat this podium like a stage that the people of Orange deserve better and that the days of turning this podium into a political circus really must end now. So thank you all.
Okay.
Keith Indeck, 554 Avon Drive in Orange. As a staunch advocate and supporter of law enforcement and an Orange resident since just before Hurricane Gloria, I present this petition supporting the red light cameras as a part of a solution to improve public safety on our roads. I've always been a person who looks at how we can as opposed to why we can't. Some people have expressed why we can't comment in response to my suggestions, but we can do this. Some people are concerned that these cameras are directed at speeders and will result in tickets for speeding. The cameras are for red light violations, not speeding, and there will be safeguards and rules in place to ensure that. As has been discussed with the Orange PD, they are interested in installing these cameras at specific locations for a specific purpose. Some people feel that these cameras will violate their rights. I appreciate everyone who offered their opinions in a non-political fashion. To show support for this effort, I present a petition signed by over 100 Orange residents supporting the installations of these cameras. I can read the petition if you'd like, otherwise I don't need to take up the time. I have copies for everyone on the board. But what it says, therefore, we, the undersigned, respectfully request that the first selectman, Board of Selectmen, police enforcement safety cameras are installed, act swiftly to install automated traffic safety cameras as soon as possible. The safety of our community depends on it. Thank you.
Okay. Did you give Ann the copies?
I'm sorry?
Did you give them to Ann?
I have them here.
Oh, give them to Ann. She'll
Thank you very much.
distribute them. Thank you, Keith. George?
Yeah, I guess I can come up. And can I first get a "Let's Go Yankees"? Yeah. No, I'm trying to see if any Red Sox fans are in the area. Okay, yes, you should be. You had a good year. I'm George Lesko. I'm with the Orange Lions. And in November 14th, it's a Friday, we're having our semi-annual fundraiser called Military Whist. It's a card game, and we have a lot of fun with it, and we raise money for our charities. As a matter of fact, one of the charities that I was talking to a couple of our friends about here is one on Saturday. We're working with the West Haven veterans. The veterans are called Surfside, and they meet every month at the museum up there. If I could tell you one thing, if you ever can get to that museum, it's in back of the train station, you owe it to yourself to stop in. That place is very special, talks about memorabilia and things going on with the war, and the Surfside veterans meet there once a month. We're hooking up with Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield, and we've raised $2,500, and we're giving it to the certified ladies and gentlemen, non-perishable items, clothing, that type of items. And again, this event that we're doing in November helps pay for that. So I'm asking the board here if they would waiver the janitorial services for that particular event so that we could raise some more money and give it to these veterans for this event.
Yeah, that's, yeah. Okay, any questions? Yeah, we figured, yeah. Okay,
Can we
yeah,
do a motion?
yes.
I support it.
Motion's made, seconded. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
And again, this is Saturday, anytime after 9 o'clock. If you'd like to stop by and visit with the veterans, they could use a little love.
Thank you.
All right, George. Anybody else for public participation? Yes.
Hi, my name is Alice Caston. I live at 151 Sunrise Hill, and we moved in about 6 years ago, just before the installation of the red light at Baldwin. We're at the intersection of Sunrise Hill and Baldwin. It was really bad. There were lots of accidents. The red light has certainly helped at that intersection. There's also incredible noise. It's not bad during rush hour because people are minding their own business and, doing what they're supposed to be doing. But in between times, we can't sit out on our deck. We have a very nice deck. The plants like it, but I don't, because it is so noisy out there with motorcycles revving around and doing wheelies, and I don't know what they're doing. The speeding is really pretty bad, and the accidents continue. And so we've heard that there's this report from the police, but that not even you folks have seen it. And it would seem that it's time for that report to be public knowledge. So what I'd like to know is what the police think should be done. And I'm here just to ask for transparency so that we all know the status of that report and if anything's going to happen with it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next. Oh, Suzanne?
Hi, Suzanne Anderson, New Haven Avenue, 174. When we were closing down the country fair and hugging and saying what a great time we had, I said someone ought to know about it, and so I'd like to express tonight what it was like. Probably a lot of you already know, but just bear with me, I'll repeat our sentiments. Because I foster the belief that good things still do happen in this chaotic world, I would like to reflect upon the weekend of September 20th and 21st, 2025, otherwise known as the 50th anniversary of the Orange Country Fair. I saw infants in strollers, young kids, teens, old friends, old classmates, new friends, neighbors, groups, organizations, clubs, and guests from neighboring towns. Now, I'm not mentioning specific people who were chairmen, organizers, families, cooks, heads of committees, or workers and volunteers. Doing so would surely omit someone, but I did ask for an approximate number of fair workers / volunteers, and it is nearly 250 people. Beginning on Friday, September 19th, when preparations began, and throughout the weekend, it was uplifting, unifying, rewarding, and good for the mind, body, and spirit. Yippee, it was a success.
Thank you, Suzanne. It's possible there's more than 250 even for that, Suzanne. There are a lot of people help with that.
Yes, sir.
What's this?
Good evening, Dan Fitzmaurice, 831 College Road. Excluding highways, there have been more than 2,000 car crashes here on Orange roads over the last 3 years. That's roughly one crash every day and a half. That includes 500 that caused injuries and 4 that tragically took lives. The numbers have stayed high and steady year after year, and they're driven by the same 2 issues, speed and distraction. The report that I gave you tonight is from the Connecticut Crash Data Repository with even more details. This is exactly why red light and speed cameras are designed to address. The state gave towns this authority to use automated traffic enforcement safety devices back in 2023. Washington was the first town approved after submitting its plans to the Connecticut Department of Transportation in October 2024. Since then, 11 other towns have followed suit, more recently Stratford, just last month. In Stratford's application, which you could read on the DOT website, the mayor put it plainly, a well-managed automatic traffic enforcement safety devices program serves as a force multiplier. The police could never monitor all these locations with existing resources. And that's just as true here in Orange. These cameras aren't about punishment or monitoring or generating revenue. They're about preventing crashes and saving lives. Yet for months, this issue has been solved between the police department and the First Selectman's office. At your September meeting last month, the First Selectman handed out printed copies of an email about this program that the police chief had sent to him 6 months earlier. Every delay means more crashes, more injuries, and more risk. Other towns are acting to protect their residents. So tonight, I'm asking this board once again to take this up directly because you serve the people of Orange, and our community is counting on you to act to keep them safe on our roads. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dan.
Hi, my name is Carmela Amore Blakeman. I live on Russell Avenue, and I'm going to make a comment. Since Amazon moved in to Boston Post Road, our road has been constantly used by the vans all day long. And it's gotten worse, it's gotten better. There is a sign on Racebrook Road and Russell that says, a sign that says no trucks. Well, one was just put up at the beginning of Dogwood and Russell. So my question is just out there, how is this going to be enforced? Because in the morning, you have like 20 of them going up our street. At night, they come down. And I know a lot of people probably notice but don't say anything. So that was my first issue. And second issue, and I've gone to the police department about it, but never made an official complaint, is that people speed. I live on the third house from Dogwood, and people like 50 miles an hour up to my house, and they are flying. And I know that the police department has put speed limit meters up where Sperry's Farm is, but I think they should put them down where Alpine Drive is, because it seems by the time they get to Alpine, and Judy knows, Judy used to live there, they're flying. And we don't have a lot of children on that road, but I still think it's to be noted that between the Amazon trucks and the speeding, it can be a little annoying and a little dangerous. And that's my comment. Thank you for listening to me.
Jody Deach, 601 Harborview Road. I don't know if anybody's heard of the app called Time Hop, but when I became a grandmother, a friend of mine said, "You got to get it." So my Time Hop came up today, and it brought up a memory of about 5 years ago, which leads me to my comment or question tonight. 5 years ago, we were having a discussion about racism as a public health issue in our town. I believe a task force was appointed, and I never heard the result of that task force. So I'm questioning whether we ever got a report on that task force or where that stands.
There is a task force. I don't know if they've ever filed minutes or a report.
Has anybody ever followed up with them?
They had followed up initially, and then they had some people that, I don't know, they fell apart, quite honestly. That was a group that were mostly people that you would be familiar with, and it just went by the wayside.
Well, that's a shame, and it would be
Yes, it
nice
is.
to resurrect it maybe with a new group. My other question is, on September 12th, I sent an FOI request to Mr. Zioli and the First Selectman's office. On September 18th, I got an email reply that that had been received. I also got my return receipt that the letter in the mail was received on the 18th. We're almost a month later. I have not gotten the result of my FOI request. And I'd like-
That's because an FOI request, it was recognized within the 5-day window as allowed under the FOI regulation, and we have up to 30 days to produce that for you. And I just said to Ann yesterday that it's about time to send Jody Dietz a copy of the letter, because as long as it's within the 30-day window, it's perfectly legal under FOI regulation.
I'm just following up because the 30
Letting you know.
days comes up after this meeting and
Yeah.
obviously before the next one. Thank you.
Erica Higgins, 303 Drummond Road. This is a question in regards to 643 Orange Center Road. It was purchased in March of 2024 with our tax dollars that cost $375,000. And the purpose of it was to create safer parking for the Mary L. Tracy teachers so they wouldn't have to be crossing Orange Center Road from the church. Since the purchase, one thing's happened. The trees for visibility were taken down, so that's excellent. But so far, based on the fact that our tax sellers purchased this home, there's been no updates to anyone in the town of Orange whose money was used to purchase the home. And it was only discussed during Board of Selectmen meetings, buried in patch articles, and never publicized broadly. We're now maintaining a vacant house, presumably heating it to prevent the pipes from bursting, while the original purpose for the home being purchased is being unfulfilled. Why aren't Mary L. Tracy teachers safer today than they were 18 months ago? Well, we all know the answer, because the parking hasn't been made. Is there a plan for this? And with no input and transparency, or accountability, I think the taxpayers of Orange deserve to know what their money is doing. So if you ever could provide an answer or update on that, it'd be very much appreciated.
The engineers and Mr. Damon from TM Wright are working on the design because they weren't sure if they could cover over the existing system where it is, or if they would put a new system in along Schoolhouse Lane. They've been asked to design that, and when they come back to us with that design, we will have that answer for you. The water is shut off in the building, so you don't have to worry about the pipes freezing, so thank you for asking. Yeah,
Is there anything that stops the teachers or some teachers from
No,
parking
they
on
were
the
parked there
grass?
today.
They are?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. I'm glad some of them were able to take advantage of that
they
area.
could all take advantage of it. They've been told that, but they don't.
Okay.
So,
Well, it's just grass, right?
it's just grass. Yes, just grass, but you can still park a car on just
There's no
grass.
septic or anything that anybody...
Yeah, there is, but they're not gonna go through it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Is there anybody else for public participation? Oh, Mrs. Shaw. I didn't know she was here. She pops up like a chipmunk. All of a sudden, I'm looking.
Well, you know what I'm here to talk about. To remind everybody that November 4th is quickly approaching, so I want to make sure that everybody knows their options to vote. So one last time, I'm going to give them to you. So we're in full swing with absentee ballots as we speak. So if you're in the need for to vote absentee, come visit my office or go online on the website. Do whatever you can to contact me, because every day closer we get is one day less in the mail that I can get you that ballot. So if that's the option, I would encourage you to take that soon. Then we have early voting, if that's your next option, on October 12th to October 20th. In this room from 10 in the morning till 6 at night until November 2nd, you can vote early vote in this room, just like you would at the polls. There are 2 nights that are extended hours, October 28th and October 30th, 8 to 8. So even on the weekends, you know, if you can't get there. And then lastly, of course, on Election Day. So if you're going to be down at the polls, 6 in the morning to 8 at night, cast your vote. Please make the time to do so. Does anybody have any questions before I pop down the chipmunk hole?
Tom does.
Just on
Yes.
Sunday, we need to make some room for that voting. We have to, I think the police helped us last year, so we don't and we want to leave some spaces for them to come and vote on
For
Sunday.
soccer,
Because we have a full.
Yeah, your
soccer.
fall
Okay.
season is going.
Yeah, I'm just trying
Yeah.
to, we need some help.
all right, you know, the Register of Voters are the ones that really kind of run that show, so I will be sure to mention that to them, and I do remember we took that into
It worked.
consideration.
Last year it worked.
Yeah.
Quite a few.
Yes, Keith.
I just have a comment.
Yeah.
We obviously utilize your services, and it was incredibly smooth, simple, and very helpful, so thank you very much.
Anytime. That's what we're here for, right? Okay. Anything else? All right.
That's it. Actually, I think we noticed last time, this happened last year, how much it impacted the amount of voters that we saw going into the polls. It really did make a difference with the early voting and the absentee voting. It really did make quite a difference. We were like, where's the crowds? I mean, we all talked about it at different times. It does have an impact. Mitchell?
Kind of a segue into the last discussion about the election. Mitch Goldblatt, 291 Drummond Road. I want to talk about signs. Let's talk about signs. We've heard a lot about signs. In 1982, the Orange Town Plan and Zoning Commission had a clause in their zoning regulations that stated, signs promoting political candidates, campaigns, and parties. Said signs must not exceed an area of 6 square feet. No more than 1 sign is permitted per lot. Signs may only be erected within 30 days prior to the date of the public election. It must be removed within 4 days after the election. That was 1982. I helped write that ordinance because I was a member of the Town Plan and Zoning Commission. And you can look it up. My name is on the front with the other 4 members of the Plan and Zoning Commission. Our most recent ordinance does not have such a clause. There is no such a clause. Why? Because a lot of things have happened since 1982. We had primaries. We had referenda, where people put up signs all of a sudden, which they've never done before. So what happened to the gentleman's agreement that we've heard a lot about recently? That gentleman's agreement didn't just encompass the 30-day rule. It encompassed everything I just read. So in the past few decades, any such agreement was broken. Was broken when signs were put up by both parties of multiple signs per lot. It was broken when multiple signs were put up for a single candidate per lot. It was broken when signs began appearing on commercial, industrial, and non-residential properties, which were not addressed. It was broken when certain candidates put up signs for primaries that never came down between the primary and the election months later. It was broken when certain parties did not take down their signs after 4 days, and even today, there are still signs up around this town from the presidential election almost a year ago. It was broken when certain candidates started putting up large billboards and banners far exceeding 6 square feet. It was broken when certain candidates, well before this year, put up signs in August for a November election. In addition, I'm sorry, John, in addition, our own former town attorney informed this board such regulations were not enforceable, which is why they're not in the current zoning regulations, because due to freedom of speech in a 1994 United States Supreme Court case, City of Ladue, Missouri, versus Margaret P. Gillio, which ruled that the display of political and other types of signs on residential property is a unique, important, and protected means of communication, and towns cannot restrict the display of such signs. Almost done. And now, even if there was a gentleman's agreement in place, which obviously there has not been for many years, when is election? Election day, as Mary just said, is officially November 4th. Voting has already begun for absentee ballots, and voting will begin for us in person on October 20th. So how are we going to calculate 30 days anyway? No matter how you look at it, we have an election which begins quite soon. Let us all concentrate on the issues of the election and stop the whines about the signs. Thank you.
The whines about the signs. How did you think of that one?
Oh, I don't even know.
Exactly. Else at the table. What the heck? Go ahead.
But it is 10 days, or just about, before shredding day.
Uh-oh.
October 25th, Saturday, October 25th, which is after Jim's birthday, after my birthday. We have, yours too, John? When's yours? 24th, after John's birthday too. Oh,
Not that anybody's asking me.
oh, I just did.
So apparently it's all about you guys.
So the day after John's birthday, October 25th, we'll have our shredding day, our semi-annual shredding day. We'll have papers. Please don't bring newspapers, but please bring any important papers, documents, medical forms, things like that, tax forms to be shredded. Mattresses can be picked up by the Orange Lions Club at calling 203-795-3906 if you want it picked up for $15, or you can bring it yourself right to High Plains, where it'll be disposed of free of charge. You can bring clothing, CDs, other items, and small items and appliances, both to the Buy Nothing. Orange will be there under the pavilion, as will Orange Community Women. They take a lot of those things, and they will bring them to Savers and get money for their efforts. And we also, coincidentally, have the same day this time as the drug take-back. That is not at 9 to noon like everything else. That is 10 to 2 out in front of High Plains. And we thank the Orange Police Department and the Orange Drug and Alcohol Commission and everyone else who's involved, and our CERT team, they're involved with that as well. We will take electronic devices, but you have to pay for those because there is a cost for those, anywhere from $5 to $20. But I hope to see a lot of people out there Saturday, October 25th, 9 to noon for the most part, in front of High Plains. Thank you very much.
Mitch, can I ask a question about the drug take-back? Do we have to put them in like a Ziploc bag? Like, what's the?
I'm not sure.
I think they take, Vin, do you know that answer?
I don't think you.
Drug take-back goes, we have a box in our lobby.
But
Right,
at this
at
thing,
High Plains.
How do we do them? Like, they're in a prescription box?
any container?
Yeah, any container.
That's fine.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think any container, but
Yeah,
thank you very much, officer.
Yeah, good thing. Anybody else? Okay, we have a few things here. All right. First off, we lost a very good involved member of our community for many, many years. It was Marvin Jamron. Marvin really was a very brilliant guy, very involved with the Historical Society, and I think he was on the district and all. He was a terrific, terrific guy. His son Jay, who died unfortunately years ago, went to school with me. Marcia is still here on Karen Drive. They're lovely people, and it's really quite a loss to our community. Marvin gave the community a lot of benefit of time over the years, and our thoughts are with his wife, Marcia, and the family.
Jim, he and Harry Jones wrote that book.
Yes, that's right. He and Harry wrote the book on Orange, that one there with the toll house on the cover of it. Yes. Let's see. Thank you to, as Suzanne said, thank you to everybody who volunteered at the Orange Country Fair. That was a huge success this year. Yeah, unbelievable. When I opened the cooler the Saturday, the week before the fair, and saw the cases and cases in there, I said, I'm never going to cook all this. I can't believe it. When the fair came and went on Sunday afternoon, I was still taking stuff out of the oven, and the cooler was completely empty. I never, ever could believe 915 pounds of pork roasts, 200 pounds of beef, 300 pounds of bone-in chicken thighs, a stack of boxes. There's two ribs in a package. There's 18 packages in a box, and the box was halfway up my thigh of stacks of boxes. I mean, I could not believe the amount of food we went through this year, but it was a very successful fair. The weather was with us, and I think everybody who attended and participated in every part of it had a good time. And thank you to soccer and lacrosse. I think that check already went out. So we appreciate your service, and it was not easy. Milling. There's milling scheduled. This one's important. Milling is scheduled for Monday, October 13th, because they'll be paving after at the library, the OVNA building, and the, what?
It's been postponed because of the weather.
All right, so we don't have to worry about milling yet, but when they do it, it's going to be, thanks for telling me, Bob. And then they're also going to do the part of the road going down as far as the tower at High Plains, and they're going to be doing that parking lot behind High Plains by the tennis courts. All those.
High Plains is scheduled for the Wednesday, the 15th for reclaiming.
Okay.
Library is scheduled for Monday, the 20th for milling, and then hopefully that Wednesday, Thursday for paving.
All right, so the library and all, they will be open to get into, but it will be crunchy surface in between the time it's milled and the time it's repaved. And the day that they are milling and the day that they are paving, it will be closed. But the library will be open, but people will have to park here at the town hall and walk across to get to that. But the dates have changed, but the job is still going on. That's part of a $600,000 grant that the town got for that work. Thank you, Don. Saturday, October 25th, Mitch already said, is shredding day and all of that. Daylight savings ends Sunday, November 2nd. So remember to set your clock back 1 hour, spring ahead, fall back. Thought we were getting rid of that. I don't know when it's happening. That's a whole nother story. The OVNA has started their flu clinics at the community center. And for more information, to get your flu shots, you should contact the OVNA at 203-891-4752. Keith, you don't want to leave just yet. One more thing. Well, two things. For those of you, the zoning board started to talk about the short-term rentals, was last night's event, and also Attorney Weaver has told me that the application to file for injunction has been put in, and they have a November 3rd court date on that. So, and then the last thing is your red light. So Owen arranged it, I don't know, 2 weeks ago now. And so we met with the company that did do the initial survey for the police department, and I was correct. I was never given the data, and that was done back in January when they did it. But it raises a couple, there's multiple questions. That ordinance will be proposed at the November meeting, then it will be acted on at the December meeting. Or the public hearing, well, yeah, be acted on. It's interesting, though, and the board is gonna have to weigh in on this part of it, because the police department has been dealing with this one company. There are several out there that do this type of work. So the man who represents this particular company wants us to pass the ordinance first, not for the reason that I initially was thinking that, well, we'll do step one and step two, because then they want us to enter into a contract with them before they do any work. They want it locked up for them before anybody. So the question that the selectmen have to think about, and it's not for tonight, but do you want to waive the bid process? Do you want to look at other vendors that potentially do this type of work? Do you want to go with the one that did this initial review at the police department's request? That's what you have to think about there, because it does have it does have a price tag to it. I don't believe they're the state bid vendor. I think they're one of a couple on the DAS bid list. And then according to that representative of this Ultimate company, it then, by the time you go through the process and file the papers and do all that they do, it's approximately a 6-month window on that. And this is something that I don't know if everybody's connecting on yet. The reason you get the DOT approval, it goes on much more major roads. This isn't like a neighborhood thing. I think there's some people out there that think that it will go in neighborhood roads. They did their studies on Derby Milford Road, Orange Center, and Route 34 in a couple locations is where they did their studies. But I finally got the data 2 weeks ago. But tonight is the street takeover one, which will then be heard next week, which anybody who's on the post road at night and sees the posses going down the post road or hears them, I can hear them from my house.
Did they study the post road?
They did not study the post road. No, they did 34 in a couple locations, and Derby Milford. Actually, Derby Milford wasn't as bad as I even thought it was going to be in Orange Center. But the post road, they did not. We'll have more questions to answer on that as it progresses. But that's what, so I finally got it with the stirring of the pot. Mitchell.
Jim, thank you. A couple questions. So this company that did the work, I imagine that the police department paid them for the work they did.
No,
I was only saying no.
that's voluntary work trying to court you. Yeah.
So, okay.
So you got to think about that.
All right. And then
They are probably, one of
That
the
preempted my
most
next question.
respected.
Can we find out in the meantime then, some of it was only like 11, I think Dan mentioned 11 or 12 towns that are ahead of us on this. I'd like to know who, anybody's got it in place. Obviously, everyone knows Washington was one of the first, if not the first.
Yep.
I'd like to know, if we could, from those that have them not just bid out, but in place now, who they used and what their success rate is, whether they're happy with the company that they used. I mean, it's possible if this is the company to use. I don't know them from any other, or maybe there's another company out there that's better or.
Well, there is, and
problems.
they're kind of, Milford is going with one that the chief would like to pair up with on some of this also, so that we can have, continuous data in some cases. But there's more to this, that why it's going to require some deep thought as to, like I said, they did all the studies for naught, which he already understands why they would do that. but then they're actually offering to donate plate readers as well as doing this red light work, which we already have plate readers in place working, just because out of the goodness of their heart. So there's a lot of question to it that I hope that if it's all possible, we'll have, the guy was very nice. I don't want to portray that he wasn't, but, you know, he was trying to sell his service. Owen, do you recall from that, what he said about the other towns?
He was all over the place. I mean, I know that Greenwich has it, but that implementation has been delayed. North Haven just had their public hearing that was, went to town meeting and passed. That was like last week.
Last week, yeah.
But he was up in the Hartford area with another town up there, but I'm sorry, I don't.
Middletown.
No, so.
And Jim, you said this comes with a price tag. Can you share about what the financial investment?
I can't, I don't think it included,
Well, before you answer
There.
that, Jim,
Yeah,
for
go ahead.
Judy's question, I think, you just been hearing this, we might indeed go with this company that's done all the work.
Yeah.
But I'm not crazy about just waiving bids on this type of thing. I like to see what the others are. So if they've already put a number out there, I'd rather not share it and rather have it.
there is no number, this
There's no
is just
number?
results of
Okay.
their
Okay.
stuff.
And we'll discuss, actually, you're right, we should discuss it further next month in a public hearing, but I think my initial concern is that, especially if it's not just a single state bid that's already been vetted, that we should probably take a look at opening up the bids. It doesn't mean we have to go with the low bidder. We can obviously see what these people come in with, but I'd like to see
Well,
who else is out there.
That's
and-
why I put that out there,
Okay,
because
thank
you
you.
and I both feel.
I'll ask around. I'll ask around and see what other vendors were used.
Well, we both feel, I think all of us feel very similar on that, so.
In terms of the price tag, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's a revenue sharing issue and not a capital expenditure.
There, it is a revenue sharing, and it's on a declining balance, the man said, as it evolves. I think part of it will also depend on what thoroughfares it's installed on. Because where you have, you know, say Racebrook Road, you probably use Racebrook Road a lot. You're gonna know that that's happening, so you're gonna be like, oh, crap, slow down, we got these cameras working. But Route 34, where it's constant transient traffic, I think there's like 48,000 cars a day or something on Route 34. Most of those people, some use it every day, but there's a lot of people that are new every day, so would be more of a benefit type of street. As far as the post road, I don't know what the legalities are of that, but we're gonna find out as this progresses. Yeah.
Jim, can I ask a quick question? I just want to compliment the town because the sign, the solar speeding sign is over by
We have
Frederick Fund Bridge.
3 of those, I think.
So I know you mentioned like people are concerned, right, about speeding all over town and these cameras wouldn't be there. But is there an initiative, again, I don't know, this is me throwing it out there, because I notice I slow down the minute I see that thing. Like,
a good thing.
I know, but it's a good visual, right, for all of us. And I know PJ and I have talked about this at length, like, if we start doing things, it's gonna be the town people getting pulled over, right, because we're the ones driving on the back roads all the time. So is there?
I've seen you drive.
Is there a way that we can do that on some of these neighborhoods like Russell, like you were talking about?
Those signs, and again, Vin is here maybe to help me a little. As I recall, those 3 were all provided at different times by the state through, again, a granting process. And John, do you remember if there was cost with those or not? I think they were free from the state, but we had to go through a grant process to get them.
I think we actually have 4.
Do we have 4 now? Okay. I know there's one on, huh?
There was one on Derby Milford on the way to the debate.
Yeah, there is. Well, I know there's one on Lambert Road, and every time I head north on it, I'm like, oh, back off. You know, all of a sudden it's bang, bang, bang. It makes you think. Yes, it does. So there's 4 of them currently, and those are from the state, from a project.
Alleviate some of the concerns if we can't do the cameras, maybe we can do more of those.
Some of that. And those are solar, so they can go anywhere where it's wide open.
Lane and Pine Tree Drive.
Well, you don't want it at a stop sign. You want it at a moving.
Middle of the road, people are flying by, one was giving clock going 40 to 43 on Peck Lane in the 30-mile-an-hour zone, and the police
in our opinion. So, you know, we've got to enforce speeding in this town.
Well, you have to talk to the man behind you.
Poor guys, they're not
Sorry, Vin. Okay, so that's all I have for tonight on that. Who is? Oh, that's right, you got the Officer of the Year award. Yes, congratulations on that, too. Well done.
This reward is coming here.
Yeah, that's Gagny getting even with him for the rewards award. All right, minutes. To consider and act on the minutes of the September 10th, 2025 regular board meeting. Are there any errors, omissions, or corrections? If so, state page and paragraph.
Motion to approve.
There's a motion to approve? Is there a second?
Second?
Okay, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Unanimous. All right, we already took care of number one. Number two is to consider an act on request to approve the bid for snow plowing services. Mr. Britton and Mr. Foyer are both here tonight. I don't know which one of them wants to speak to it. Nah, he wants his popcorn.
Bob Brenton, the town engineer, and Don Foyer is here, and happy to answer any questions you have on snow plowing. We do this every year, go out to bid for the snow plow contractors. You have the results attached. We had more companies, more trucks offered than we needed. So in order to determine, we gave a preference for companies that are closer to Orange and ones that the town has worked with before and had good experience. And you have, on the memo, you have the Highway Department's recommendations for awarding 2 small trucks and 4 large trucks.
Don, are you comfortable with 2 from East Haven, I see?
Yeah, we've used them the past 3 years now.
Okay,
Yeah, they're right on time.
all right. Any questions for Mr. Britton on snow plowing?
Real quick. Yeah, you're leaving the 7th route open, and I know why you've given reasons in your letter why we're not using certain people, and I get that. But it's not even worth even trying, Don or Bob, to even take 1 truck for one of those people and try them out?
We just took delivery of 2 new mason dumps, 550s, a little bit heavier than what we've had in the past. And we're going to designate 1 of those trying out on that route.
From our own staff?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
At $100,000+ apiece,
Yeah.
they ought to be able to handle it.
They're good trucks.
Motion approved. Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
All right. Item number 3 is to consider an act on the increase for the for custodial rates upon ratification of the 2528 UPSU Local 424 Unit 21 Town Hall Employee Contract, which we'll be doing at the end of this meeting. Well, that's up. John?
Mitch and John, happy birthday. So since you brought it up, we do this every 3 years with the ratification of the contract. It's just a matter of increasing the custodial rates to the, I'd say probably the few people that actually pay them down there. As you know, you waive rates all the time down there. I've given you the time and a half rate and the double time rate, and the 3rd page to have the current rates and the proposed rates. And this will be subject to the ratification of the contract later tonight.
Any questions? Mitch, you thinking?
Motion to approve John's recommendation pending ratification of the contract later this evening after executive session.
Second.
Okay. All in
gotta
favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Item number 4 is to consider an act on request to conduct public hearing at the November 12th, 2025 Board of Selectmen meeting regarding the proposed ordinance to amend the Code of the Town of Orange, delete Section 5 and 6 of Chapter 307 and add Article 4, illegal use of motorized recreational vehicles, and Article 5, street takeover, to Chapter 366. Attorney Weaver, you speak to that?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. First Selectman. So the police department was interested in getting this ordinance on the books. The purpose is to effectuate the newly enacted Public Act 25-80. Portions of that act actually took effect October 1st, others earlier this year, but it's a relatively new legislation. The legislation deals with two things: the illegal use of certain vehicles on public property and street takeovers. Prior to this enactment, there was no state legislation on street takeovers, so there were no municipal ordinances out there on banning or penalizing street takeovers. The illegal use of certain vehicles is a pre-existing legislation, but Public Act 2580 made some changes, and the primary changes was to make the penalties more robust. You may have seen in the news that some cities and towns that have these legislations already on the books, these ordinances, had like crushing parties or public auctions of motorized recreational vehicles. So currently, our code prohibits use of these vehicles on public property, but the penalty is only a $50 fine with nothing else. So there was some frustration from the police department that they couldn't take advantage of a public auction, or this new act allows for the destroying of the vehicles. So I'm happy to go through the whole ordinance. The way it's set up is, again, we're deleting sections 5 and 6 from 307, which is the current code provisions relative to using these ATV and like vehicles on public property. It'd be, those provisions would become redundant if you were to adopt the other provisions of this ordinance. That's why they're being deleted. And adding the two articles to Chapter 366, the first one being the illegal use of motorized recreational vehicles, and the second article, Article 5, being the street takeovers. I'm happy to go through every provision. I don't know what this board's pleasure is, so.
Just one thing. So well, actually two. One is, when we do this, we have to publish this entire ordinance in the newspaper?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Just to publish the ordinance. All right. The question I do have about the ordinance itself, we are leaving ourselves the option then, from what I've read, to either, if we seize a vehicle, to either sell it at auction or to destroy it, right?
Yes.
Okay. And that
Yeah.
decision be made by who and when and
The
how?
chief.
The chief? Okay.
Yeah. And just so the public, so there is a safe harbor provision, I'll call it. If the vehicle is being used and the owner of the vehicle was not aware of the illegal use, they have 90 days for the ATV provision to come in and save it. For the street takeover, it's 6 months, which is, I don't know why the legislature did the two different time spans, but they did. So if there's any concern that, we're taking private property from somebody who's innocent, that there is a safe harbor. So.
Thank you.
And the reason you've seen some communities just recently crushing them, whether driving payloaders over them or other bulldozer I saw in one case and all, if you put them back up for sale, they have people that show up for them and buy them back. So you're better off in this particular instance to run them through the crusher as opposed to putting them up for sale, because they find ways around the rules. So with that said, is there motion to send this to, any more questions first? No. Otherwise, you'll have time for more questions next month. This is going to the board for action at our November meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Item number 5 is to consider an act on request to waive medical benefits for 33 town employees. What this is in the instance where somebody may have retired from another police department or job that had, they carry their benefits with them after retirement, or if they have a spouse that carries the benefits for them and they choose not to take Town of Orange health insurance, they get a $2,000 stipend at the end of the calendar year. If they start working for the town, it's prorated quarterly also for them, but that is paid at the end of the year, which with what health insurance costs the town, whether it be for a individual or couple or family, it's quite expensive, and it's a plus to the community, quite honestly. Yeah,
Motion
there wa-
made to approve the revised list that came out today, the waiver of medical benefits.
Second.
Okay. Motion's made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Unanimous. Number 6 is to consider and act on the schedule of the regular Board of Selectmen meetings for 2026. Anybody have any challenges there? You have to pick one for November because of Veterans Day. Any thoughts on that?
I suggested the week before, after, keeping it on a Wednesday, because the room does get used on Tuesdays for zoning.
Yeah, it can't be on a Tuesday, for sure.
A motion made to make it the November 2026 regular Board of Select meeting on November 4th. No? Okay. What? No, election is on Tuesday. Be on Tuesday.
Okay.
That all right?
So is that
All right?
acceptable with that
I
change
made
to
I made a motion to
everybody?
make it November 4th instead of November 11th.
Okay. With that change, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Unanimous. To consider and approve tax refunds totaling $77,278.62. Any questions on those returns? If there's none, is there a motion on that?
Carmel will be happy to see that Amazon Logistics Silver paid $65,000 of that 77.
They still pay plenty.
Motion made.
Okay. All those in favor? Opposed? Abstained? Unanimous. Pension Board,
No report.
Fred Wolf Park.
We are scheduled for Thursday, October 23rd. Oops, sorry. We are scheduled for our meeting Thursday, October 23rd at 6:30 at High Plains Community Center, where BL will present the new master plan for Fred Wolf Park. So hopefully all can attend and enjoy what looks to be a wonderful presentation.
Okay. With that said, is there a motion to go into executive session? Invite Finance Director Cifarelli, and Attorney Ryan is here, and Attorney Weaver if he chooses to stay as well.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Okay. Okay, we are back in public session from executive session at 8:10. We were discussing the contract between the Town of Orange and the Upsuit Clerical Union, one of 5 unions that represent our employees here in the Town of Orange. The vote for that proposed labor agreement, is there a motion on that?
I'll be motion to accept the tentative agreement, collective bargaining agreement by and between the Town of Orange and the United Public Service Employees Union Local 424, Unit 21, which is the Orange Town Hall employees for July 1, 2025 through June 30th, 2028, and authorize the first selectman and finance director to execute this collective bargaining agreement between the parties.
Second.
Thank you. Second made on that. Is there any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. All in favor? It is 8:12, it looks like. Is there a motion to adjourn? Okay, thank you. We are adjourned.